Hi everybody, welcome to another tutorial. This one is going to be a balloon maraca is what we're going for this time. Now right now we have a single one, but if you do two, that'll be pretty cool. And then I was also suggested, another good idea also is to put something inside the maraca, of course. So if you have some rice, that's kind of cool. And then someone said sugar, and then another person said salt. So there's different things you can put in there. I would imagine salt's probably easier to deal with in the long haul. Because if you have sugar, as soon as it gets like a little bit wet, you're done. So far as how would you put it in there, there are a couple ways you could do it, but the one I heard best was a little small dispenser, like something that has like a cone tip. That way you could stick it into the neck of the balloon, and then you just give it a little squish, and it'll put your sugar or your salt in there. So just think about that. How would you do that? So anyway, let's go ahead and go over the balloons we're going to be using. I'm going to put that over to the side. Oh, by the way, if you haven't been to the other tutorial for the piñatas, be sure to check that out, the little balloon piñata. I'll hold it up there here just for a second. It's pretty cute. So anyway, let's go over the balloons like I was saying. So we have our mustache man here. This is it's a pre-printed balloon, which is really nice. That means no drawing, right? Another upside to this balloon. And so let me go ahead and finish inflating that there. I actually dropped a raisin inside of this. Raisin, if you're wondering, not a real raisin. A raisin in terms of balloons is a balloon, a small piece of scrap balloon that's been tied up, has a knot in it. A lot of times it looks like a raisin, and in a minute, when you play with this and you go to reach for it and use it, you'll realize, oh, it really does look like a raisin. That's where it comes from. So anyway, you can probably hear it in there bouncing around. And the other balloons I use are a 160, and this is part of it. You saw the other part that I used right here, actually, the scrap, right? And then I have the blush, that's gonna be for our handle, and then I used brown for the hat. And a friend of mine, this great, terrific balloon artist, Helen Budinger, she did black, so it's like a mariachi. So that looks really awesome too. So that's the cool thing about this. You know, it doesn't have to be certain colors. The colors I'm just using for teaching today. So again, this is what it's going to look like. So you got a good idea. Again, for my pros, you only got to see it once, I'm sure, and you'll be able to go off and do it on your own. And that's the cool thing about this, you know, it's nothing too difficult. And so anyway, if you've never been to any of my tutorials, I always do the same, and that is I bring the sound down and I do voiceover so you can follow along, and hopefully I don't go too fast or too slow. So here we go. Let's go ahead and bring that sound down and get started. Alright, so one of the first things I want to talk about really quick as I tie this balloon up and size it is the idea for the salt and the little dispenser came from my buddy Andy Roy. Fellow buddy, great balloon twister, and so I just wanted to let you know. And then the balloon artist I mentioned earlier was Helen Budinger for that black mariachi hat. Great idea. So first thing I started off with is I got my brown there and I created a loop, and it's about 4 fingers wide, I would say, and I pulled that nozzle through. So right now what I'm doing is I'm searching for that raisin. You just tip the balloon up, hold it upside down, you'll find it. And so what I did is I grabbed it, and I'm just going to pull it, and I'm just going to twist that balloon so I get a nice raisin. There's no other way to describe it, really. It's just a little hunk of balloon there, and I'm just placing the two together. I'm holding on to that raisin, and I'm just twisting that brown balloon around it, that mocha, making sure that I'm really holding that balloon in place. Okay, so you can see it's right there. See a little orange piece of balloon right there? That's our orange raisin. So I'm going to go for 2 bubbles now. We have one there, and then we have a second bubble. So you could pinch twist this second bubble now if you wish, but I'm going to wrap the balloon around. There we go, and back to that bubble actually. And I'm just going to wrap the balloon around that, and that's going to give us our first pinch twist. Here we go. And then right after that, I want the brim of the hat to be bigger, so I'm going to go around one more time. So when I inflated this balloon, I left about, I would say, 3 to 4 fingers is what we're going for. Just so you know, I didn't say that ahead of time. My apologies. Okay, and so that's all I'm doing right now is, again, just going right around that, going right back to that pinch twist. And you're going for a snug fit when you do this, just so you know. You don't want to do too tight because the balloon, you know, they are, I would say, round, and so they roll against one another. If you put too much pressure, and your hat could have a problem staying in place, the brim. So if you do it nice and snug, shouldn't be a problem. Alrighty, and so I was just shaping it up there, make sure it looks good. There we go. Pretty content with that. Alright, and we just broke off the excess and we just tucked that tail inside. Alright, so now we have our hat, and so we're going to go right to the handle, and notice I left a longer nozzle there. And the reason I'm going to do that is because right now I'm going to make two 1-inch bubbles, and the nozzle is going to make it so I can pull it. So I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to twist them there together, and now I have that nozzle, that big tail, so now I can pull it across the middle of those two bubbles and wrap it in there really tight, so that way I can get two even bubbles when I do that. There we go. And the place I remember seeing that, doing that right there, was from Michael Floyd. Super awesome, great balloon artist. A lot to learn from that guy. So anyway, I just twisted the balloon right into the neck there. That's all I'm doing, and so it allows me to just secure that in place. There we go. That's all I was going for, just so it's, you know, nice and sturdy. And so once you get it in between those pinch twists, one thing I would say is wrap it around a few times to make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, and just tighten the bottom here. I broke off that excess, and I have my cutter down below. You might see sometimes the balloon dips out of frame, and it's just to get to the cutter. Alrighty, so we're pretty much done, and the last thing that we're going to be making is the red handkerchief. Okay, so I'm going to do a segment, probably I think I did about 4 or 5 fingers there, and then we're going to do a little 1-inch pinch twist. There we go. And now what's going to happen is we're going to go around. See, I'm just holding it there in place. I'm going to go around the balloon back to that pinch twist. And you can decide how snug you want it to be. I went pretty snug because I don't want that balloon bouncing around, and I definitely don't want that little handkerchief or bandana coming off. Okay, so right back to the pinch twist, and just give it a couple twists to make sure it's nice and secure. There we go, and just match it with the other one, and you're good to go. So hopefully this design was pretty easy to follow, and if you have any trouble, you know, always pause the video or just comment in the section below, and you can definitely ask me a question. I'll be happy to help you. No big deal. We're just here to learn and have some fun. So anyway, that brings the design to an end. There you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Stick around. Check it out. I got them both now. Yay! So we made it to the end, and you can see it's not so hard to twist, and it's always cool when it's 2 maracas versus 1, right? But even so, I just really like that they have their little scarves on, or the little handkerchiefs, versus not having them. I don't know, maybe just a preference, right? So anyway, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to rate it. You know, thumbs up, thumbs down. Maybe it wasn't useful to you, so but maybe it was, so that's a good thing. So please feel free, comment down below, talk to me. You know, you're making this, you're not making this. Share it if you think it's useful for somebody, and as always, I always ask to subscribe. That way you know, or get a notification when I post something new. So again, thank you very much for being here, and as always, happy twisting.